Okay. So yesterday when we left off, Henry was still in the ring with Ribsy, and all of his friends were out of the ring, meaning they had already won their prizes. The contest was already over for them, but for some reason, Henry and Ribsy were still in the ring, and even Henry has no idea why. So we're going to read today and find out for sure. Said the judge again. At last, only Henry and another boy were left. Henry remembered that the other boy's dog had done all the right things. The judge stepped to the center of the ring with a silver cup in his hand. Henry wasn't at all surprised when the judge handed it to the other boy. He just wondered why he hadn't been asked to leave the ring. He thought he must have made a mistake, but the judge said to Henry and the winner, "Come along to the main ring. There will be some more judging there." Puzzled, Henry followed. Beezus and Ramona, Scooter, Mary Jane, and Robert and their dogs followed Henry. Maybe Henry was going to win a prize after all. In the main ring were the prize winners from all the other rings. Henry noticed 2 big silver cups on the table and saw his judge whispering to the other judges. They all looked at Ribsy. Ribsy panted harder than ever. The judges had the winners show their dogs again. This time Henry wasn't taking any chances with the clothesline getting wound around his legs. He wound it around his hand so that there was only a foot of rope between his hand and Ribsy's collar. Ribsy did not behave any better the second time he was shown than he had the first. When Henry's turn came to lead him across the ring, he stopped to growl at a boxer. The boxer growled back. Henry heard Scooter say, "If that lad doesn't look out, he's going to get all bit up." Ribsy growled louder. The snarling boxer advanced, dragging the little girl who owned him along on the end of his leash. Henry tried to pull Ribsy away, but Ribsy ignored him. The dogs circled around one another, pulling their owners after them. Henry yanked so hard at Ribsy's collar, the dog choked. The boxer snarled and sprang at Ribsy, using his powerful front paws to knock over the smaller dog. Henry's hand was wound in the rope, and he could not let go. He was pulled down on his stomach with his face in the grass. "Look, Henry's in a dog fight," screamed Beezus in great excitement. The boxer's owner began to cry. Henry was so mixed up he wasn't sure what was happening. He smelled the damp grass and felt it tickling his nose. He could hear snarls, growls, and barks. He could hear children screaming and yelling. The boxer stepped on his back. Henry said, "Ugh." He lifted his face from the grass in time to see a Boy Scout try to stop the fight by throwing a pan of water at the dogs. He missed the dogs, but he didn't miss Henry. 2 judges ran into the rings and grabbed the dogs by their hind legs. They yanked the snarling animals apart. "All right, son, go ahead," ordered one judge, while the other helped the little girl hold her boxer. Embarrassed and dripping, Henry got up from the grass and, without looking either right or left, hurried Ribsy across the ring and back. Finally, only Henry and another boy were left. The judge stepped to the center of the ring. "The big cup for the best dog in the whole show goes to the boy with the setter." Everybody clapped when he handed the boy one of the big silver cups. Ribsy growled at the winner. "And now," said the judge, "the cup for the most unusual dog in the show goes to the boy with a mixed breed dog." He handed Henry the other big silver cup. "Gee, thanks," was all Henry could say. The audience clapped, and he heard Beezus shout, "Hooray for Henry!" He thought Ribsy looked pleased. Everyone gathered around to admire his cup until a newspaper photographer asked them to stand back while he took a picture of Henry and his dog and wrote down his name and address. Henry was going to have his picture in the paper. "Congratulations," said Scooter, "but I still think he's a mutt." "Well, anyway, he won a bigger cup than Rags," boasted Henry, "but I guess Rags is a pretty good dog, too. Good old Ribsy. Now you'll get a drink of water." He led Ribsy to the nearest drinking fountain. He filled the silver cup with water and put it on the ground. Ribsy greedily lapped the water. Henry patted him. "Good old Ribsy. I knew you wouldn't drink out of any dish but your own." So Henry and Ribsy won a prize, and it may not have been the best prize for the dog that was best in show, but it was for the most unusual dog. And I don't know if you understand what a silver cup is. It looks like a trophy, And so what Henry did at the end, because Ribsy was so thirsty, is he went and filled up the trophy with water so that Henry could finally have a drink. So on Monday, when we're back together again, we'll start chapter 6 called Finders Keepers.